Now I'd like to invite our candidates for the 4th District for the Town Council to come forward, Bob Young and Steve McGale.
Thank you.
We're done with your money, Jim.
Good evening.
Take that and make it 2.5 minutes.
First of all, I want to thank all of you for being here this evening. I too would like to honor the Gothiers this evening, and Brad, it was an honor to serve with you over the last couple of years, and I mean that sincerely. I didn't exactly run for the position of chairman a couple of years ago, but once it happened, people talked about a learning curve, and I saw it more as a learning line. You know, it went straight up. It didn't curve. But Brad used to stop in periodically. Is there something I can do about that? I usually don't have a problem being heard. You can unplug it. All right. But anyway, Brad used to stop up periodically and sit with me in my office. And he always had with him old maps of Killingly and of Danielson and history books about the old mill. And for someone who had only lived here in town for 11 years with my wife and Abigail, he helped bring me up to speed on your history. And as someone who is a history buff, it was very important for me to learn about that. While I'm on the subject of my wife and my daughter, Abigail's a little bit under the weather tonight, so she's home with my wife, Caroline. She did get her H1N1 this week, and that's kind of knocked her around a little bit. But she has vowed to be available on Tuesday morning at the polls. We're talking about getting young people involved. She's already stuffed the door. She's out door to door with me. She's going to help me at the poll next Tuesday. And my mom, I wish she had lived to see me be chairman of this wonderful town, but she's not with us anymore. But fortunately, Abigail has her adopted grandmother, Joyce Ritchie, and she has vowed to go help her with her election on Tuesday morning. And if Joyce gives us any more Webkins, I'm going to have to move out. So thank you for all of that. And, you know, I've been the recipient of some honors in my life. For example, I graduated college with honors. And I had high grades in law school, even though I worked and worked full-time and went at night, and it was an honor to be the first one in my family to graduate with an advanced degree. But when the council got together 2 years ago and voted me chairman of this wonderful community, the only thing I can place above that is my marriage to my wife and the birth of my daughter. And so I'm not going to say anything else tonight without thanking you from the bottom of my heart and from my family's heart for that wonderful honor. There wasn't one day when I went out to a ribbon cutting or a meeting or anything like that where I didn't try to put the best positive face I could in our community. I would have done that anyway, you know. But I first got voted on to the chair, and it just didn't dawn on me until Frostival at the end of December, where someone came up and said, you know, this is the first event of the tercentennial. And I said, my goodness, you know, I've lived in this town for 11 years. I'm the functional equivalent of a chief elected official, and this is their 300th birthday. You know, I almost couldn't talk, so thank you for that. I need to return to my notes for a minute, because there were some things I wanted to go over. Jack, the dysfunction sticks in my crop too. So let's talk a little bit of business. We're being a little bit modest here tonight. For those of you Democrats who wish to join us on the council this year, and those of you who wish to retain your seat, when you are out among your public between now and next Tuesday, and you run into some old people in town, some senior citizens, you may inform them that we did pass the most generous tax credit to senior citizens available under Connecticut law, and we did it because Jack Lagarde wanted it done. You can tell them that. If you run into farmers, you can tell them that similarly, we passed a generous tax credit also for working farms, also because Jack Lagarde was in the forefront of that. So you're a little bit modest there, Jack, but you deserve a lot of credit for that. The new school, as much as we have fought, has provided jobs during a very difficult economic period, and that was an unintended benefit of the school. But I'm proud to say that this council and the last council recognized the dignity of labor and the right of workers to organize. So I'm very proud to be part of that. And for the young people, you can tell them that we're building what we hope will be a state-of-the-art facility that will help you compete in the world after you graduate. We're also trying, and this quite frankly hangs in the balance right now. I don't know what's going to happen, but Pete, you're a little modest too. You showed up a couple of years ago at public comment and talked about the new energy policy that Middletown had done for their school, and we've been trying to do the same thing. And we're going to hear from the Clean Air Fund, I am told, like tomorrow or Monday, as to what kind of a grant we'll get for a fuel cell for the new school. But if we succeed, Killingly will be a leader not just statewide, but I think nationwide, in instituting new energy policies in public buildings. Now, if that's dysfunction, I think we need a little bit more of it. Thank you. But to sum it up, when you take all of this in its totality, the aged, the children, and the public buildings, this is traditional democratic politics that I grew up with, and that you grew up with. And after a long, long dry spell of our doctrines really being held into disrepute, it's nice to see them come back again. And it's by starting at the local level, we'll see it work its way up, I hope again, so this country will realize their value again. So once again, I want to thank you. Oh, before I close, Mark, you were the pillar at my left side, for the last 2 years. If I needed a quick advice on how to get out of something, I always ask you. Mark, get me out of this. But anyway, again, I want to thank you for the great honor of being chairman. And I look forward, I hope, to succeeding in my election next Tuesday and to serve you again for another 2 years. And now I want to introduce my friend Stevie Kale. In my line of work as an attorney, and I've been an attorney and I worked for the court prior to that, so for 23 years, you learn to pick up body language and stuff from people, and you kind of know what you're going to get, before they talk. So if I don't know what someone is thinking, I have to kind of watch the body language and try to figure it out. I don't have that problem with Steve.